Hello, I'm Dr. Andrea Hassan, and this little video is for those people who might be interested in applying to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and our doctoral programs for either clinical psychology or developmental psychology, where I have taken students in the past. This next year, the question is whether I'll be accepting students, and the answer is I probably will not know the answer until mid-August or early September. We're working on new budget models and figuring out what's going to be possible in terms of admitting students for the next year. Right now, I think it's doubtful that I'll end up taking a student, but please feel free to check back with me then or on the website. In the clinical program in particular, they post who is going to be accepting students, so you can take a look at that tab for information for applicants. In terms of our lab and what we're doing, I can give you a sense of that as well. So I direct the Family Journeys Co-Lab here at UNC Chapel Hill. Right now we have 3 students in the lab, one leaving to go on internship this next year but continuing to be engaged with us, and a new student joining us this fall. One of our students is also in the quantitative and developmental programs, where the other 3 are in the clinical program. So we have a bit of a mix of how we put together the interest that people have in the lab. My area of research has really got 3 big emphases in it. First, we're really interested in the development of addictions over time, and that may be ladybug, that's what that was. That might have to do with the early emerging pathways that help us identify risk early for addiction and what we can do early in the life course. Or it may have to do with what's happening as we move through adolescence and into young adulthood, and thinking about looking at markers of risk and resilience during that period, and thinking about the ways that we might develop novel tools for intervention during that point in time. The second big area of interest that we have is about positive youth development. We've done a fair amount of work trying to understand the development of gratitude over time and what parents do to socialize that, including an online intervention. We're now merging those 2 lines of work to try to understand the development of things like gratitude, generosity, and love that connect us to other people in our lives within adverse contexts for children between 6 and 13 who have a parent in recovery from addiction. The third area of interest that we have in the lab really overlaps with everything else, and that's the development of novel methods, both statistical and qualitative, to be able to understand these developmental phenomena in all their complexity over time. We try to adapt as often as we can a community-engaged approach to doing this work, and we're very interested in the way that we might be able to inform intervention, although we don't do program development and evaluation as sort of a separate entity from our community-engaged work. So that sort of covers the basis of what we're doing at this point in time. Graduate students come to work with me. I have a very tailored approach to doing mentoring, and so I'm very interested in thinking about how their interests match with the lab and the opportunities we can provide. I don't need someone to come and mirror the types of things that I'm trying to do exactly, but if there's not a match between the interests, I'm just not able to provide the type of mentoring that students benefit from over time. So if you're interested in trying to think about whether I'm a good match for you, you will check back and see if I'm taking a student as we move into the fall, and think about how your own interests may match with those that I've talked about. We find that the program at UNC Chapel Hill is very research focused, so students who come in right out of the gate knowing that they're primarily interested in doing clinical work, I discourage from coming to UNC Chapel Hill. I think the fit is a little bit harder, and encourage them to look at many other wonderful programs that are out there that may be a better fit to their interests. The other thing I encourage people to think about is whether the thing that they want to study has overlap as well with what I'm interested in doing and what we have opportunities for people to study while they're here. So if you're really interested in studying like adversity in the brain, we have someone who does that. Dr. Meredith Sheridan does that. Or you're interested in the way that we can use digital technology to enhance parenting interventions, well, that's Dr. Deborah Jones. But if you're really interested in the ways that we think about a specific form of adversity and how that might shape the types of interventions that come out, that's a much better fit for what we do. So if you don't have any interest in addictions or in the way that trauma intersects with addictions and adversity as a specific context for understanding those developmental processes, may also not be as good of a match. But those are things for you to think about as you're considering what your options are and pulling materials together. It's a very hard and daunting process, and I wish you all the best in your journey ahead.